Hello everyone, I'm Sightless Combat, accessibility consultant and gamer without sight. Happy Global Accessibility Awareness Day 2022 to you all, and I thought for the occasion I would upload a quick video discussing a question that I get very commonly asked in various places including Reddit. That being, what is sighted assistance? Now you might be thinking, well, that's an easy question to answer because, it's assistance from a sighted individual locally or otherwise. But it's not necessarily just that people want to understand. A lot of times people have trouble wrapping their heads around just what is needed in terms of sighted assistance as well. So I thought I'd answer that part of the question here, given it's quite a common one. So what I will preface this by saying is I've already covered how controls work from an assistance point of view in the previous video, and the whole co-pilot situation. So I won't be covering that today. But what I'll be covering is things like menu narration and navigation, cues, and aiming. So let's go with menu narration first. So menu narration, for those of you who don't know, is when menus are spoken, whether that's through actual recorded actors providing the lines like in Mortal Kombat 11, or whether that's through actual narration through text-to-speech, as is seen in many Ubisoft titles and those on the Microsoft side of things like Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon 5, Gears 5, and Halo Infinite, just to name a few. And now, of course, the implementations may differ between what you're using, but the key thing is, what if a game doesn't have that? What if a game doesn't allow you to move through the menus of your own volition, understand what's where, and set the game up yourself? At that point, you then need either optical character recognition or OCR, which I could show off in a separate video potentially, which essentially uses software to extrapolate text from an image of the game screen, which is a not necessarily viable way of doing things because the text is often garbled, slightly garbled at best, and an unusable mess at worst. So when those options are exhausted or non-existent, sighted assistance is often needed. Now, the clip I'm going to show is going to be from God of War, from a recent stream with Janissary, whereby we were upgrading runics and unlocking new ones, runic attacks for a specific weapon in the game. And the thing is, with those menus and all of the menus in God of War, they are not narrated. So Janissary had to step in and read all of the information for me so that I understood, the differences between the two attacks that we were comparing and contrasting and having a look at seeing whether we wanted to use this new one that we'd unlocked. So let's show that clip and you'll see how it works. Yeah.
So currently you have Wrath of Artemis equipped, which has the advantages of being you can get it off quick and it's 17-second cooldown. It does 2 out of 5 damage, 2 burn, and 5 stun. Cyclone of Chaos, which you just picked up, is he extends the blades out and then just kind of does a 360 AoE whirlwind where he just spins them around above his head. And at full upgrade, the Cyclone of Chaos will do I think, +1 stun, +1 damage. 3 out of 5 damage and 2 out of 5 stun. No burn, though.
Yeah, well, that's
cooldown is 34 seconds.
Ooh, so double the length. I would say that's not worth it, arguably.
Okay.
As a trade-off, but it's good to have a look.
Do you want to equip it briefly just to see how the level 1 is?
Yeah, why not? Let's have a watch of it, because I don't know why they couldn't just have. What
let's try it.
With that particular example out of the way, I hope that clarifies, the need for narration as well, because it's a big thing when you have a ton of different, elements on screen that would just be easier if they were narrated, by a narration element. So whether that's, custom TTS or whether that's a screen reader, regardless of the method used, the key thing is having agency to go through, manage my inventory, sort everything out. All of that is key, because then you spend less time doing that in game and you can get on with whatever the game wants you to do, whether that's the narrative, whether that's side missions, whether that's finding the next save point. But to do that, you need to work with navigation. Navigation is a common problem in open world games, or the lack of accessibility for navigation is a common problem, because a lot of the time there is no support of any kinds other than visual markers. Occasionally there is unintended accessibility, so things like the Gears of War, if you press and hold Y in Gears of War's first entry and the Ultimate Edition, your camera will turn to face the objective, and you can hold it down and walk in a straight line, and it will hopefully move you to where the game thinks the next objective is. However, that is not necessarily where the objective is. I had one situation where I was trying to get to an element that was, you know, maybe across the street or down in the middle of a road in Gears of War, but instead what the game did was it took me upstairs through a building, and so that I could see the objective from a window, which is not helpful because of course you can't walk through windows. I mean, you're not a ghost, you can't just phase through solid matter, which is a big problem. So you know, and also Dead Space has a more refined version of this in the sense that pathfinding works through most situations, so even walking down corridors that twist and turn, going through doors, and Dead Space 2 upgraded that with extra options like being able to find you know, benches, objectives, save stations, stores, etc. Now, with that being said, when those navigation elements, you know, intended or otherwise aren't there, you need assistance to get pretty much anywhere. That's partly facilitated through the controls, you know, through the co-pilot sort of scenarios that I've discussed previously, but also through things like, you know, if you're navigating and you need to land and then complete a task, so interact, that then comes into the element of verbal cues. So you will see both of these in this next clip from the PS4 version of Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, because I haven't yet played the remaster. I want to, but I wanted to get the platinum on the PS4 version first and then get all the trophies on the PS5 version as well. So I'm playing through the PlayStation 4 version to then go and finish everything off on the remaster, which has improved accessibility, including for navigation, and I may cover that in a separate video if there's interest. So what you'll see is DB controlling the game. There is no control from me until he says hit it, I believe are his words, and then that means that I am going to press L1 and R1, throw the object that we're going for, which is a bomb as part of a challenge, and then I will aim. He will point the camera in the correct direction to hit the object with webs, and then I will hit the buttons to web everything. So it's very fluid and simultaneous, but the point being, I wouldn't be able to know where those are without his assistance. I wouldn't be able to even get close to it on this version of the game without him manually navigating for me and doing all the swinging and things, particularly as it is under a strict and stringent time limit. So I will roll that clip and you can see how that works in practice and just how much I would be unable to do without the sighted assistance included. Smooth.
Hit it.
So with that example out of the way, I'm going to show one final clip from me, but to show the contrast, I thought I'd throw a clip in there of me in a game that I can play completely without assistance, that being, of course, The Last of Us Part 2. This is in a run I'm currently doing that I've called the Aloy run, because I've essentially just stuck to using arrows and melee. There's a few other sort of odd stipulations that I've thrown in there and intricacies that I've put in, but to make it sort of like a Horizon Forbidden West / Zero Dawn run, I thought I'd try and be fun on New Game Plus and use a bunch of modifiers. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is I can navigate this game's world with no assistance needed, unless I'm trying to do very, very difficult strategies that would need guides or the like. So there's a strategy where you can place a trap at one point earlier in the game from where I am now, and you can take out a bunch of enemies as they spawn in. That is very difficult to do, and you have to be very lucky, but I have done it once with the aid of an explanation from a sighted gamer, but I wouldn't have been able to do it as a standard part of my gameplay. I wouldn't be able to do it consistently unless I practiced it a lot. But what you see in this gameplay, in the clip I'm about to show, is the fact that I'm able to have a strategy in my head, run around a corner, and then actually engage in combat as well, partly because of the audio cues for dodge prompts, and then, you know, the enemy cues are very clear as to what's going on, as are the cues for navigation too. And the fact that I just press a button and it will orient my camera consistently, or pretty much consistently towards the next objective, is a massive part of that as well. So I can Do that all with audio cues, navigational assistance, and then even with the combat, dodging and then attacking the enemies with melee is, easy because of those features. So I'm going to roll that clip and notice the difference in terms of my reaction and my ability to then strategize completely based on what I'm hearing. There's definitely one more. We're going to run to antagonize. Let's to draw the enemy out. Oh, get off me! Whoa, what the? Did all of you see that? Was that momentum? What? Oh! Wow! That was ridiculous. I love it. How are we doing?
Standing. Health 1. Upgrade.
Oh!
Health mullet. Health kit. Mullet.
Right, we're gonna.
Health kit.
Health up while we're actually still alive.
Crafting. Health kit.
Craft.
You know how.
Craft.
2. You know how.
So with those clips being what they are, I hope that's given you information on how crucial sighted assistance is, but how it shouldn't need to be. The point is, with enough accessibility, a game can be fully playable. But the key reason that works when it does is because accessibility has been considered from the very beginning of development, and it's been considered right the way through with consultancy and iterative processes through launch, through post-release, and is a core pillar of the process of constructing the game and building accessibility in as an integrated facet of that, instead of retrofitting it on and having it cost a massive amount more in the bargain. So if there's any other interesting videos you'd like to see from me on similar topics, or questions that you'd have that you think would work well as a video like this, feel free to let me know and I will be glad to look into it. If you have, if you want to find out more about Global Accessibility Awareness Day, feel free to go and check out the link in the description. And I hope this video has been useful and interesting, and the clips have been, of use to you as well in terms of showing how everything works. And even if they haven't, and you want to see more, then come along to my Twitch and watch my Twitter as well for any posts and updates. Those will be linked in the description too. With that being said, I've been Sightless Combat. Have a great rest of your day, whatever time it is in your part of the world, whatever time it is where you are. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching.